Hi guys, good morning. We are almost at the end of the month, which means a release article to tell you what's new, what changed. That's one video. And the other video I make is how to stay rolling, because it's important. Well, you should know that Arch is a rolling distribution. It means you install once and you keep going for years and years and years until you break it. And then maybe it's time to figure it out how and why to make it again better, or say whatever, and half hour later you're back up and running after a clean install, which is always a very good idea. Now, to simulate that how to stay rolling, we always use an old ISO, the one previously created, and then we do an offline installation, because an online will get everything in already, right? It's already rolling while we install, so that's no good. So we need an offline installation, which is basically in the beach, on the mountain, right, where there's no internet, there is no possibility to get new packages in, which means it's a, well, actually it's a back in the past, not back to the future, but going back in time, right? It's back, let's say in this case mid-November, no, not November, mid-October, right? Because this is the release, Ctrl-T, we can actually see when it was, right? October the 18th. That's how far back we're traveling. These are the bits and the bytes and the kernels and the configs of that particular moment in time, since this is an offline. And then we update the system, which means that's going to be the date, right? 28/11. So a month and a half, more or less, of updates that come in. And that's how to stay rolling. And if there is something to explain, issues, there's always something to explain, right? The most important thing is to remember that this guy works with keys. Well, I can actually stay inside this machine, right? You go to a browser, the favorites, Firefox is there, and you learn about keyrings. So ArcoLinux keyrings, and you read. There is a lot of reading going on. Well, you should do that. Pacman signing maybe. And here are the master keys found here. That's nice, right? That's always nice. If people see this for the first time, they say, oh, what's this, right? Boing. And you click on this thing and you see who this is. It's a person who has a key, Levente Polyak, right? The major developers, so bigger circle, and the smaller guys. All these guys make packages, have keys, they sign it, and that's our way of staying on top of things. That the packages that we install have been signed, have been checked, that those guys can actually give us packages, right? Once we go AOR, that's something else. Once you go to the Arch user repository, read very carefully what they say. Welcome, please read. AOR packages are user product content. Any use of the provided files is at your own risk, right? Signing, not signing, is it fake, is it not fake? It's a little bit of trust there. But there is so much fun in the AOR. There are 90,000, let's say, right, packages, but 11,000 nobody looks at. So orphan means nobody's gonna maintain it. 214 last days added, updated 2000, updated in the past year, so probably this is gonna be corrector, and eventually this one as well. So I always say around 50,000 packages is what really is maintained and updated and used, because it doesn't mean that it's not used. This one doesn't mean never updated, because if you write the package build, you can write it that way that you never need to update it, because the package build updates itself. You can have some mechanisms in there, so you don't need to push anything to the Git of Arch. It's just gonna work, right? That's the way it's built. So let's say around 50,000 packages that we have, and they're all signed. And yeah, the signing is important, so I suppose control find ArcoLinux keyring, there he is, right? The ArcoLinux keyring package, which is dependency of, contains the latest keys, however, so that's the one we need. We need to have this one, and it is always a matter of updating. So this one is from October, which is okay, right? We're already, well, let's say end of almost December, right? So 1 month, a little bit more, 1 month and a half, we did not receive any update yet of the ArcoLinux keyring. Maybe an interesting thing that you can have these as well. You can look at the source file, but maybe you are in a pickle, right? And you can't download anything anymore. Well, you go to another computer, you download the ArcoLinux keyring, you put it on USB, you move to the other computer, and you do this command. You tell to the system then sudo pacman -u install it, right? There's always a way around things. It's only knowledge that you need. If somebody tells you, you know. So that's what I wanted to share quickly. So ArcoLinux keyring is important. Signing of packages is important. We have our keys, Endeavor has their keys, Garuda have their keys, right? And in the ArcoLinux tweak tool, if we launch that, you see, well, not CC, but there are keys. Everything that it needs is already in the package. So if you're gonna shop Endeavor OS, it's here, Reborn OS, Garuda, Celtics, they're all here, and the keys are there, right? The signing is important for these packages. All right, let's wait for this, and then let's stay rolling, because that's the video. So how to stay rolling, but any video, I'll always explain more than the title allows me. Only 100 letters that I can type in YouTube title. Pausing. And a few seconds later, when I paused, there it was, right? So, VirtualBox, we boot up, shows grub. There's systemd, there's refind. Our message to the people is still use one operating, choose, right? Choose one Linux distribution, and do not dual boot and all that, because you end up with problems and issues. But who are we? It's just advice. We type update, that's our own command. And now we're gonna stay rolling, right? 1.5 gigabyte, that's new. There's several things you can do. There is something called skel. You can actually type it already before you update. There's a link. Follow the link. Read what skel is. It's a bit specific to ArcoLinux, right? So if you're in a pickle and Qtile doesn't work anymore, Awesome doesn't work anymore, etc skel has the backup. The working code is there, right? So whatever you changed, you can undo it and make it work again. So what is skel really doing? And do I want it, right? Up to you. But there are more things, so let's say no for now, because there's nothing, well, everything that's in etc skel now is already here, right? But after this one, that's something else. That we don't know. After the update, things might have changed. Sometimes I do the long approach. Let's do a intermediate one. Take a look at our aliases. Right? There's quite a few aliases, and there are a few about skel. There is backup skel. There is cp, copy bash, copy fish, copy z, so zsh. So this is an interesting one, backup skel. And up to you if you want to investigate what's going on in my skel. If you want to do that, what's gonna happen? Backup skel means let's make a copy. Before the update, we got this. Then we update. Everything is being put in all the places, right? But not only in etc skel, of course, in user bin and user share, the system updates. But if we change something, in Awesome, Qtile, ZWM, it's going to be changed in etc skel. We don't touch your home directory, right? Home dir is left alone as much as possible. So the etc skel contains the new code. The old code will work, or maybe not, right? Because of updates of developers for, let's say, ArcoLinux, something changed. Then we need to change as well. The correct code is in the etc skel. You can figure it out on your own, keep everything as is, or have a look at etc skel and say, that's what they changed. We need to remove this, we need to rename that. The wallpaper changed in the backend, so we've changed the look a little bit, right? From time to time we have to change, and actually we're already making the ISOs for next year, right? 250101, hence the new wallpaper. But it's on the fly, everything is rolling, right? And yes, we have support for hardware that in a virtual machine we're not gonna need, right? By that I mean there is Broadcom that's being built, that takes time. Realtek that's being built, that takes time. So things like that, I say I don't have that. Why should I install it? Well, for the other users, right? So there is something called remove, and you have a look. And there is line 5, remove Broadcom Realtek. That's gonna remove those two. You can remove kernels, you can remove conkeys. By default, it wants to, if you build packages from the AOR, it's gonna build a debug package as well. If you don't like variety, some people really don't like variety, right? Okay, remove variety. And remove XFC Forum. So these things are available. Quick type and launch of a script, done, right? This I would do because I don't have Broadcom, I don't have Realtek, and it takes time to build it now for 2 kernels. And 1 kernel for me is also enough. For the last 8 years, I've only been on the Linux kernel. But who knows, right, in the future that my old PCs by then will not be supported anymore. And I need to go to the LTS or I need to go to the Zen kernel. Those are all just Lego blocks choices. But that's not really, that has nothing to do with the stay rolling. Those are choices we have, we provide with an easy script. And after clean install, you say, okay, all right, I'm gonna keep 2 kernels or not, right? So there we are, that's the update. Basically, I can do another backup skel. What happens? I have 2 skels before the update, after the update. What's interesting? Comparing what changed to my system. Basically, we're going inside the video, what is new. Now, people used to say that this is a bloated system, right? Well, not anymore. Meld is not installed. Because of those comments, we said, okay, let's not install it, right? Meld needs to be installed. Then you can say, let's compare. We don't want to see the same things, we want to see the differences. So new, basically there's nothing new. I removed the blank desktop. By default it was an auto start, so let's just remove the file that says go launch blank. Now it doesn't matter, if blank was not installed, nothing happened, right? There was not even error, it was just a file of 1 kilobyte, whatever. No, here it is, 184 bytes. So didn't bother us, but well, made no sense to keep it, right? So that's why we removed it. So basically there's nothing to say. What's new in the etc skel? Nothing, not for this system, right? We've done things for Hyperlink and stuff like that, but not for this particular setting. But that's how you analyze the workflow. That's that. So yeah, we can do a remove just to show you that we have red text. Really want to remove? Yeah, sure. Off you go. And it removes it, that's one thing. another thing you need to do is up all. Why up all? Because up all not only looks at ArcoLinux, but also anything else you might have done in the past that's coming from the AUR. So that's the extra line. Right? That's the extra line. Looking for AUR upgrades. If I did a yay something, right, and I installed it, let's see it. It exists now, it exists. So one AUR something. Then if there's an update, he will update that one as well. So that's good to know. There's an up all and an update. And that's it for me. There's basically nothing to do, which means in the bin are very interesting things. Run these guys, run these names, and in stay rolling, I have to say, if you want to move from, well, we did not do a skel, remember? See what happens when I do a skel. Watch this empty spot. So going from this month to this month, from this month to this month, I'm gonna make exactly the same folder in the next package, right? You'll get 12 and here elf 11. So elf is Dutch. So from 11 to 12 and nothing to do. There was no things to remove or to change. We are staying rolling. That means sometimes, voila. Sometimes we say there's a script, and then we say we need to remove quantum QT5, right? And then we're exactly the same as the ISO. That's the idea. Keeping rolling, staying rolling. Decisions we've made on the ISO will be reflected also on your system. All right, that's it for me. So not much to update for real, but some interesting information about the keys in the beginning of the video. Cheers.